Bhopal, I was born and brought up in Bhopal itself. And if you are talking of the Bhopal gas tragedy, then for me it started in 1981. I started working on this story when one of my friends who was working in the carbide got exposed to phosgene and died. His name was Ashraf. And that was December 81. And since then I started working on the story. And during the investigations I discovered that this is going to cause a disaster which could kill everyone in the city. And then I started writing. Since September 1982 I started writing articles on the basis of my investigation, and since then it has been going on.
So what was the response of the authorities when you first brought it to their notice?
You must understand that the authorities were hand in glove with the carbide authorities. They were friends. They would party together, they would sit together, they would travel together. They had vested interest. So where was the question of taking anybody action against carbide and taking note of it? I must tell you that there has been an occasion that one of the government officials in fact suggested me that you are just wasting your time, why don't you sit together and talk to them and I can organize a meeting. So this is what was the response. And when I went to the members of state legislative assembly and they raised the question in the house, the then government said that it's not a piece of stone which can be moved from one place to another just like that, and it's all a wrong story and there's no truth in it. And we have checked. The labor minister then said that I have visited the place and have seen, and they have foolproof safety systems.
Were you ever threatened by the government or by the corporation?
Not in that sense, no.
In your opinion, how many people died because of the Bhopal gas genocide?
Let me be very honest on this, that I am not into counting the dead bodies. But I think the number which is being claimed is obviously on the lower side. The number was much higher, but for the lack of evidence, because if I claim something, I don't have an evidence, because when you talk to the government, they talk of evidence. So every time it becomes very difficult to produce the evidence for each and everything. And so is the case with the death figure in Bhopal.
What do you think is the current situation of the victims and the struggle for justice for Bhopal?
I think it's worse than what it was on 3rd December 84. Those who perished, I think, were the lucky ones, because those who survived have gone through the bad times and have been suffering like hell. And nothing has changed in the past more than 3 decades now. Things are not changing, it's getting worse, because as the time passes by, the government is running away from the responsibility, and they think that the people have forgotten, but those who are suffering, how can they forget?
Do you think this was an accident or a deliberate act?
It happened because the company wanted to save the money on the safety systems, and that's what I have been talking of. Since 82 to June 84, all my writings suggested that the safety systems are being ignored. And if the ignorance of the company means the deliberate act, then it's a deliberate act.
Yes, because from your writings we understand that even the public, the government, you have written several letters to the CM, to ministers.
I did.
And you've also published in local vernacular languages and in English. So everyone was aware that this was happening.
Yeah, that is true, and I must add, even in 82 itself, I sent a petition to the Supreme Court also.
Mm-hmm.
Even that was not entertained.
So then, can the company escape liability?
How can it? How can the company escape the responsibility? It's a different matter that the successive governments have been helping the carbide and its successor company to evade the responsibility, and that's why the people haven't got the justice so far.
Okay. Any comment or message that you'd like to give out to the people who are fighting for Bhopal now?
Those who are fighting, and it's a just fight.
Mm-hmm.
It has to go on.
Okay. Do you think they will get justice, or Bhopal will get justice?
I'm not very optimistic on this. I don't think. Because by the time the day of final judgment comes, even in the courts, all those guilty shall be dead. Most of them have already died. Some of those who are still living are on the verge of it. So I'm not optimistic. If you think only some more money would be the justice, for me it's not.